back with the Ron and Fez Show. Thanks for being with us on a Monday as we start the week.
All right, Fez, you were talking about this. Ricky Williams has decided 5 years, plenty, to be a football player. He is leaving, and I guess he says he's got a one-way ticket to Asia, and that will be it for him. He's not looking back.
Yeah, not even specific where in Asia. He's just getting to Asia. He's just getting to another hemisphere.
He wants to travel the world.
Yeah, he wants out. He wants out bad. He doesn't want anyone to look at him during this football season.
How bad is this for the Dolphins? Is this end their season?
Yeah, it's over already. It's just done. That was their one bright spot on that team, I think.
Why do you think he did it? You think it's more of a thing of everyone's known that he's had social problems? Remember when he used to do stuff on TV? He would go to the press conference leaving his helmet on because he felt safer.
Yeah, I think finally those social anxieties got the best of him. He had another pot bust, and I think he just really got tired of people looking at him.
He doesn't like anybody close to him. Although he does do stuff like MTV's Cribs when he had a great crib that time. Now, at what point do you think, I mean, we like it in this country when an athlete will walk away at the top of their game. This obviously feels too soon, but at what point do you feel like, okay, the guy's done what he set out to do, and it's okay if he leaves?
I think if he had set even like some Dolphins records or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't even close.
But what if you said this guy was just happy personally from the experience that he had in the NFL, and he could say, I'm walking away with money, I'm not injured, I'm not going to end up like a lot of these guys who end up cripples. What's wrong with that? Is it just too soon for you? Is that the big problem? Like Barry Sanders, was that a problem for you?
I didn't have a problem with Barry Sanders doing that. He had pretty much, he wasn't going to get to a Super Bowl with that team.
But
and that was about, and the Walter Payton record was about all he had left.
And you don't think that records were important for him then?
No. And if he feels that way, if he could have had that and didn't take it, I can respect that. If he didn't feel it was that important to him, that I can respect. Ricky Williams, I don't think he ever got up to the potential that everyone knew he had.
Let me check with Dubs. Dubs, you were a Detroit fan then. You must have been shocked when Barry Sanders walked away.
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel like he let down the city, the team?
Yeah, I think when these people do it unexpectedly, it really hurts the whole franchise for a lot of years to come.
Sure.
And these people are giving you a lot of money. You owe them at least saying, okay, this is going to be my farewell year. And then you run out like that.
But by the same token, they never owe you and give you a farewell year. How often do you see them cut loose guys that are who suddenly lose a half a step or get injured? The teams don't feel the same way.
But they've already paid them millions of dollars. I don't think they do owe them at that point.
So you're always on the side of the big corporation, the billionaires over the millionaires.
Yeah, to a point. Because it hurts the fans, too, who are, hundredaires.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But so your thing is when you owe it to the city to win. It's not so much anything else, but you owe it to the city to keep trying as long as you possibly can.
Or at least give them a time frame where they can get someone to replace you.
Yeah. Well, let's say if you got a guy like Ricky Williams who doesn't really like confrontations, you can tell, doesn't like the press conferences, and that's a big problem for him. You can't play pro football and go, I'm not going to do the press conferences. I'm uncomfortable with that. You are forced to do that kind of stuff nowadays. It's not just doing what you do well. And if any of those guys make a mistake, and most of the time they do, these same fans are ripping them one side or the other for saying something stupid. All right, we're going to open up some phone lines. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Here's Michael. Michael, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
It's Michelle.
Oh, Michelle, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hi,
I'm
Ron
just
and
going
Fez.
by the way it was put up there.
Oh, that's okay. For me, I think the biggest shocker with Ricky Williams is the fact that as a Miami Dolphin, I don't think he's ever played a playoff game. And that, I think, as a Miami Dolphin fan, is kind of disappointing because they've gotten close, but, close but no cigar. But as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, which is what I am, I'm thinking, like, phew, because 5-6 years ago, I'm sure you guys remember Ricky Williams had come out with Donovan McNabb, and there's a whole...
If you remember, the Philadelphia fans booed like crazy when Donovan McNabb got picked up.
It was a busload of losers that
from
went
a sports talk station. From a sports talk station.
Yeah, Angelo Gattoldi, he led the bus up there, and they were, oh, we're not booing Donovan, we're just booing the pick. And it's like, now, I mean, hindsight is 20/20. Not only was Donovan the better pick over Ricky Williams, he was the best quarterback. Those quarterbacks in that draft, they're like, nobody's even heard of him anymore. I mean, they're all out. There was 5 quarterbacks. That was the quarterback draft.
All right, Michelle, Dubs, does this sound like the perfect chick for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A chick who's really ready to go over the draft. You're like the fantasy girl. We got anything in the big-ass prize closet for her tonight, Dubs?
Definitely do.
Any girl that's willing to talk about the depth of the draft is perfect for anybody. All right, hold on, Michelle.
Nice work, Michelle.
866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. Here's John. John, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Cool, buddy.
So, correct if I'm wrong, but Chandler's gave him 10 good years, right?
11, I believe. 11. Yeah.
And he busted his butt for all 11 years, and then am I correct in saying that they put him on the block and they were going to trade him?
No. He would have retired a Lion. He was Mr. Detroit. Everybody loved him. And it's not like his numbers were really falling off, were they, Dubs?
No, he was actually, he might have fallen off by a couple hundred over the year.
But he was still
he was very strong.
One of the top 3 dominating backs in the business. It was weird. And again, the reason why people compare it to Ricky Williams is nobody saw it coming when Barry Sanders left the game. Nobody knew it. No, that was coming down.
And one other comment I want to make about Barry Sanders, whom I respect greatly, is his class, the way he looked at the game, never spiked the ball, handed the ball to the ref. I just think the guy was a class act all around and went out on top.
Okay, thank you very much. ESPN.com, Fezzi has done the top early retirements of all time. Barry Sanders came in second. Guess who came in first?
Oh, let's see. Wouldn't be Joe Montana.
No, not Joe Montana. Who
that was past time.
A couple of years too long.
I don't know.
Walked away after, I believe, had the rushing title. And he was also one of these guys that for 20 years after they talk with him, he had the rushing title and the championship game. It was before the Super Bowl. Jim Brown. Jim Brown left after 9 seasons, being a dominating player of his time, like probably nobody we could even compare with. Now, in the 9 seasons that Jim Brown played in the NFL, I think 8 of the years he was leading touchdowns, yard games. Nobody was even close. Here is this another Michelle? Because you guys can't spell in there. I can't even go to it because I can't trust you. Rick, Danny, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, Ricky Williams, you guys are putting him down. You guys don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know the guy. You just talk about the guy.
What's your point, Danny? You know him? You're a friend of his? Turn your radio down. Turn your radio down.
Well, I'll come over it down. But listen, you guys are talking about, you guys, you sit up in probably the best seats and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Have you shook his hand?
Yeah, I met Ricky Williams before. What's your point?
Where? My point is, where'd you meet him?
I met him in Orlando at a, gig? At the Hard Rock.
The Hard Rock Cafe? What'd you do, shake his hand? Come on.
Yes, that's exactly what the hell happened. What is the whole point of this? And I don't remember ever sitting here judging the guy. I was asking about the guy. That's all. It's that simple. Here's Jackson. Jackson, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that it was just kind of tacky in the sense that, he did it at like the worst moment, I mean, he could have been thinking about this for a couple of months now, and I was reading like the Dallas Morning News because his mom lives in the area, And she didn't even know this was happening, you know?
The same as Barry Sanders, though. Nobody knew, even his own father didn't.
Yeah, it's a crazy jigaboo.
Scared of black people.
See, there you go.
Hey, guys, I just want to say about Ricky, I think people saying that they didn't know it was going to happen is a little bit false. He's been having these anxiety issues for quite some time.
You don't know him. Did you meet him? You sit up there in your beautiful seats. You live in lodge.
Shaking hands and such.
I mean, but you know what I'm saying? He's actually admitted to him. And I applaud him for going out on his own terms before it becomes a sideshow. Because when you have anxiety with a touch of paranoia, it's hard to convince a superstar that no one is looking at you when everybody's looking at you.
Yeah, everybody has watched them all the time.
You know,
absolutely.
It could have gotten worse, and he could have became a sideshow. 6 years down the road, if he would have left, everyone would have said, well, what happened to him, this, that, and the other. At least he left on his own terms. And as far as him owing anything to the team, no, he doesn't, because you're right, Ronnie. The team, they'll float him as soon as they can. If the cap hits or something like that, they'll let him go. There's no,
you know what? I don't.
In sports.
You look at a guy like Bo Jackson, who was the biggest athlete of his time. He got that hip destroyed off just a regular hit. Nothing that ever happened. A guy who looked invincible at his time. All the sponsorships disappeared. All the fans disappeared. The teams in either league, baseball and football, disappeared. Nobody cares about you but you, particularly in football. I don't know a sport that's maybe boxing is the only other sport that's worse of taking care of people that get injured.
But don't you think he could have gone like maybe 2 or 3 weeks earlier before Eddie George signed this people? Or
they could have gotten Eddie George.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I think he really wanted to do this up until the last moment and then pulled out of it. I just think it's a thing where, if you have a guy who doesn't want to fly or something like that, suddenly all the things that everybody else likes doesn't mean that you have to like it. Some people aren't turned on by being stars. Here's Robert. Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, let me just explain something to you. I talked to some bookies, and they say to me that he got busted for weed back in last year. He got a $600,000 fine, and that's why he missed the last couple games. And he was going to get busted again this year for a second violation.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, so, that's why he quit, because he doesn't want to deal with that. It's not about him performing. It's not about anything like that.
Yeah, but here's another part of it. You don't know why he's smoking weed. If he's smoking marijuana...
He's in,
no.
Australia, right? He went to Australia to look at the mountains. Yeah.
No. But the guy suffers from social anxieties and phobias. Maybe the only way he can relax is when he smokes marijuana. Well, there are people who do that all the time.
That might be true, but that's got to be the main factor is that he will get busted again, and he knows the NFL will bust him for the third time. 3 strikes you're out in the NFL.
But what's he care? He's out anyway. Well, he's out anyway.
Yeah, he's a pussy. Yeah, he goes out like a pussy, and that's the way it goes. I'm sorry.
All right, here's Abdul. Abdul, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Abdul.
Well, we lost you. Here's Michael. Michael, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, what's going on, Ron and Fez?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, you know what? I mean, Ricky Williams, he was a great running back, but I'm glad he left on his own accord and and everything. But he could have stayed on. By him staying, I think he could have hurt the team much more if he would have stayed on.
In what way?
If his heart's not in it, then it's going to bring down the rest of the team. Because I look at the running backs, Marshall Faulk, Eddie George. Those guys should have retired a long time ago.
Yeah, most athletes hang around longer than they possibly should. And then this is what most people end up complaining about on sports radio. Why did this once great guy who we all loved at one time hang around till he looked like a broken down old man? That's the normal thing you complain about an athlete.
And the saddest running back to look at is Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith hung around too long, longer than the team wanted.
Too long.
Yeah. He's coming back again this season, right?
I believe he is, yet nobody cares.
Now that his broken shoulder blade is fixed.
And he's got the starting job.
And I saw on the internet that Ricky Waters is looking to come back in.
Yeah, well, it's got to be tough for a lot of guys to look beyond the fact that, I mean, where else are you going to make the kind of money that you can make in 1 year, or at least coming in, getting some starting money? What other jobs are out there like that?
Well, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed money like basketball. You're going to get your money, but in football, they might offer you a $60 million contract, and you might only see $15 million of it.
Absolutely, that's one of the things. That football league is so bad for that. And most of the time, when you read about these huge contracts, they're all stacked up at the end of the deal. People don't want to take care of it. Then you have this what do they call it, Fez, when you try to keep everybody under the salary cap?
Yeah.
And then they expect you to renegotiate your contract because somebody else that they want for the team. It's insane.
That was that whole Eddie George situation where, you know, they owed him so much money in Tennessee, and then to go re-sign somewhere, for some reason, running back just gets really crap money comparative to other positions.
John, you're on Fez.
Hey, man, props to the show.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Just want to say, everyone's been making good points about this, but what we got to remember is Ricky Williams hurt the team here by leaving the way he did. Didn't give them any notice. He didn't give them any chance to pick anybody up. If Williams ever decides to come back to the NFL, there should be a penalty against him where he's not allowed. He should be barred from the NFL for competition. So,
because he let the team down by deciding at the last moment.
He screwed the team.
Yeah.
They have no way to compete, especially with the running back core they have right now.
Yeah, I don't see him competing. But again, in this league, you still never know because it's the most difficult league to bet on anymore.
To me, it's just par for the course for the Miami Dolphins. You know, the same thing just happened with Dan Marino. He was going to come in and be our big GM, and he decided 3 days into it, this isn't a real job. I just think it's the way that organization is run. That Wannstedt, I see as being completely useless. Every season, I'm shocked again that he still has his job.
Not a big Wannstedt fan.
I am not a big Wannstedt fan.
Think he's probably in the top, let's say, third of coaches.
No, I wouldn't put him in the bottom third. I'd put him below that.
Middle third. Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Run of Fez. How are you, buddy?
Hey, man. Pretty good. Hey, Fez. How you doing?
Good, buddy. What can we do for you tonight?
Hey, man. I got a little listener psychic for you here. Ricky Williams, he's going to work at the post office. Put it in the book.
Ricky Williams at the post office?
Yep, he's going to be a letter carrier. He's going to work through social phobias, nice and quick. Social services job with a guaranteed contract. Plus, he gets to run.
There you go. It's everything he's ever wanted without the pressure. I mean, we're forgetting this, and this is the truth. The money that he's already made is like most people hitting the lottery. He's already hit the lottery. He's not married. He doesn't have kids. He may be saying to himself, I've got cash. I have my health. All you got to do is look around the league of guys coming back to visit who are hobbling at 33, 34 years old.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think he's going to come back. I think on the other side of it, with his social anxieties, I think once he made the bold move to get out, there's no way he's going back in.
Not going to happen for him.
I think it took so much, people talk about the way he went out. I think it took a lot of courage for him to finally quit if he's been thinking about it.
I guarantee you this, Fez.
Radio Psychic.
5 years from now, if he's not back, there'll be rumors every year. The Barry Sanders rumors probably only stopped about a year ago. Is Barry coming back?
It still comes in. That book kind of put it to rest.
Yeah.
But last year it was still coming in.
Oh, we still hear about Dion.
Yeah, it's true. But, I mean, here's a guy who's walked away and isn't healthy and is in terrific shape. Here's Gary. Gary on the Run of Fez show.
Hey, dudes.
Yeah,
hey, Gary.
How you guys doing?
Cool.
Hey, listen, here's the deal. Look, Ricky Williams is a young man. He's 27 years old. He's got millions. He doesn't need this BS anymore. He's obviously tired of the game, and he doesn't want to end up like Earl Campbell, who's a cripple now.
Yeah, it's absolutely
That's a
true.
sad sight.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I've seen him before over the past couple of years, and he's in terrible, terrible shape. And when Earl Campbell played football, Fez, nobody ran like him. I mean, he was a monster.
He was a bull.
Yeah.
He was a bull. And I saw a special on him on ESPN years ago, and he's got a walker, and he's got somebody to help him around, and the man's in his early 50s now, and he's a cripple.
Yeah.
You know, and so for anybody to jump on his case about retiring early, well, you know, I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand completely what you're saying. When you look at some of these older football players, as much fun as it is to watch football, I don't know whether you'd want your kids to play. Here's Mike. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez.
Turn your radio down.
I'm sorry. Listen. You got to talk about like Ray Lewis. You know, he's killing people. He's making all this money. You know, all these guys that are making all this goddamn money. You know, I think you guys ought to be in the field making this kind of money. You know what I'm saying? As much as you guys talk about it. What do you think?
I don't like to get hit.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Was that your drunk friend that called before?
No, my wife told me to call.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, thanks a lot. Make sure you keep partying, bro. Keep partying.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
You see when the Baltimore calls come in drunk later at night. Yeah, what do you know about it, huh? What do you know? The way you're talking about it, why don't you play?
In that 10-second call, we got Ray Lewis killing people, and you should do it.
It always comes back to the same things with a lot of these people, and I don't have no idea how somebody can do sports. But the calls, if you listen to any sports radio, always call that they're getting too much money.
Right.
That's always big for everybody. Letting the team down is always a major one. Letting the city down is always gigantic with them. And a lot of times with sports radio, it always sounds like it's the same 8 guys. Because that's how the topics change.
And pay me that kind of money.
Pay me that kind of money, I'll go out there tomorrow. Pay me. And, of course, if it's the heckler mode, it used to be better years before. As if nothing has improved with time. And it was always that something that happened before was much better. I don't care if it's candy, sports teams, commercials, music, something better always happened about 15 or 20 years before now. We'll take a break. It's the Ron and Fez Show.